This is our first test episode. We're actually going to rock this out What I wanted to do is I wanted to get you started up this morning with some good information, something that's going to really help you scale your business, especially to all my friends and colleagues in the real estate industry. So, as we know, it's coming to an end soon. It's inevitable. The eviction moratorium, the foreclosure moratorium, how to go about actually working with clients. You probably are, if you're in the real estate industry, you're probably wondering, okay, I got some people right now that were thinking about selling, but they figured they'd maybe stay in their house for now and ride out this, this non-payment roller coaster. So I want to kind of give you some data and some background on how this is going to work and how you can actually help your clients better understand things so you can get things sold and get it moving. So with the eviction moratorium ending soon and the foreclosure moratorium, and again, it is inevitable, folks, so instead of wondering about like if, when, just remember it's inevitable. I think something that you really want to keep in mind and understand is that when it goes down, your potential sellers, people that are right now in deferment or in default, will believe that it'll be just like 2008 and they'll be able to not pay their mortgage for at least 5 years before anyone takes it away. And I want to give you some data so you can actually share that with them so you know what the reality is. Because the reality is they're coming for that house and they're going to come for it a lot sooner than 5 years from now. And here's why. Let's go back to 2008. 2008, a lot of people that defaulted on their homes were upside down, which means that they literally owed more money on the house than what it was worth. Also, pre-2008, what was happening is that people were getting qualified for loans that they should have never, ever got anyway. It was considered predatory lending to a certain extent. And on top of that, the default rates were so high for many banks that they were going under overnight. So you saw this huge wave of just like crushing when it comes to the financial institutions out there. So what do you have? You have banks that waited years because they figured I'd rather have this person live in the house, take care of it, and then when the equity builds up, I can foreclose and take it then, which is what they did. That's actually what they did. Now, the thing is that your clients right now, or your prospects, whatever you want to call them, it depends who they are, they think that it's the same show. It's not the same show. Here's what I mean by that. One is the real estate market has not collapsed and will not collapse. Most people that have bought their home, over 90-something%, bought them because they're qualified. They have the money, they have the credit, they have the income, they have the reserves, they have everything they need to actually afford the property. So that's one. There's no predatory lending this time around. Second thing is the government is giving out money, about depending on what timing it is, anywhere from $800 to $1,100 a week for almost a year now, if you live in the state of New York. And in addition to that, the banks have worked with these borrowers in good faith to not take the home, to work with them. And they've offered them options such as putting everything on the back end as a balloon, distributing the payments throughout the entire loan that were missed, or other repayment terms. So when you look at it, when it really comes down to it, I believe that once the foreclosure moratorium is lifted and active and people start litigating for it, we'll see those foreclosures happen a lot faster, and here's why. There's equity in a home. The real estate market's booming. The bank can make more money now if they actually foreclose than ever before in history. So they're not going to want to litigate for 5 to 6 years. They're going to want to take that property. And here's why I'm telling you this. I'm not telling you this to just one-up the person you're speaking to. I'm letting you know that the prospects you're speaking to, they have two options. They can either take advantage of the equity situation in their house or their bank will. So if you want to paint and create a contrast of what things were based off of what they are, and they're not the same. 2008 and 2020/21 have nothing to do with each other at all. 2008 was an economic collapse because money was being lent out that should have never been lent out. 2020, which created a government shutdown, and not government shutdown, sorry, a countrywide shutdown because of a pandemic, that's very, very different. The banks worked with them for over 1 year. They tried to get them in repayment. Most of the people that aren't paying are receiving stimulus money, they're receiving unemployment, and they're receiving also payment arrangements or deferments from their other creditors. Therefore, they're in a much better position to pay. And I hate to say it, and I hope no one takes it the wrong way, but when you stop paying for over a year, generally speaking, that's a decision, not circumstance. You fall a couple months behind, that makes sense, especially since the whole country shut down. After a year, you're deciding not to. And I want to help the people that have decided not to and help the agents that are trying to help them, which is take advantage of the opportunity to sell, pull the equity out, because that foreclosure process might come faster than you think, because it's not 2008. It's a different era, different circumstances, and the real estate market is booming, not tanking. So it makes sense for the actual bank to take the house back. So when you're in real estate and you're talking to your client, you don't want to make them wrong. I say client, but let me say prospect, because technically they didn't sign yet. You don't want to make them wrong. So what do I mean by that? Don't tell them like, oh, it's not the same, they're going to take your house, or don't say you haven't paid for a year. You got like, don't use those. That's not a good way to build rapport with someone or help them through a situation. You want to educate them and let them know the differences between the timing, and then let them know their options. So they do have options. They could work it out with the bank and come to a repayment term or solution with them. They could list the house, sell it, use that equity, and walk away with money in their pocket, or they can wait it out and then lose the equity and lose the house. But essentially what you want to do is direct these prospects on a different path than just default and I got years until they'll take my house, because I highly believe that won't be the case. So with that being said, I would just want to do a little bit of a test episode. We're going to be doing Wake Up with JB on the regular very soon, topics that you'll be able to select, and you'll also be able to call in live, ask questions. But for everyone out there, especially in the real estate game, I love you. I wish you the best of success, and I will see you often from now on. Take care.